Hello everyone. We're back to our map with hands-on art history. We're looking at Russian Impressionism. So now we have a map of Russia. A long time ago it was the Russian Empire. Now it's been broken up into many little countries. The largest one by far is Russia. We have a small country of Kazakhstan here, and a small one of Georgia and Azerbaijan. And they are next to Turkey, which, if we look at the map this way, you're going to see Greece to this area. And the rest of Europe will be over there on the map. But right now we're going to focus on Russia. Look at it. It's a huge area. What do you think you're going to see in land formations in Russia? You will. You'll see flatlands, which are steppes. They're located over here. You'll see mountains, which are up here. You'll see cities, countrysides, fields, streams, rivers, lakes, the Caspian Sea somehow down here. You'll see all of these kinds of different types of land because it's such a large area. And that will reflect the art. And we also remember that Russia, the capital of Moscow, is very close to Europe. So they were influenced a lot by the things happening in Europe, like the style of Impressionism that developed in Paris. Many wealthy Russian families or aristocrats would send their children and would go to Paris for visits, cultural visits, shopping visits, trade visits. It was considered the thing to do for wealthy people to travel in Russia, and this is one way that they showed their great wealth, is to travel to Paris. While in Paris, they read interesting new books, different from the things that they had in Russia, and they saw art that was different, very different from what they had in Russia. So Russian artists who came to Paris in the 1860s, were seeing the Monets, the Degas, the Pizarros, the Caillebots, the people who were introducing light into their paintings, and the sparkly touches of white that made us feel as though we could be outside in the sunlight. And they brought that back to Russia. But because Russia is a different country than Europe, Russia is located halfway in Europe, but halfway in Asia, because of course China on a map would be over here. And the Russian people are very strong people. They have very, very strong cultural practices. And they show that in their art. They like to be very well organized. They were ruled by a king called a czar for a very long time. And a lot of that structure stayed within their society. You had to stay within your particular box. And we see that in some of the people in the paintings. You can tell if someone was a peasant or a serf or an army general or a very wealthy patron by their clothes, by the way they stood, by the way they looked out at you on the canvas. Perhaps a peasant might be bowed over because they were so tired from working so hard, and their eyes would be closed or not very clear. And a Russian lady might look out at the painting as Mary Cassatt's women did, just look right at you or go about their business and show through the way they stood and the way they carried themselves how secure they were. But in Russia, as I said, many artists went to Paris to study. Two of the main artists we're going to talk about this week are Savrasov, and he was born in 1830, and he died in 1897. Right? And the other important artist is Repin. Repin was born in 1844 and he died in 1930. And these two artists are the ones who are going to be really training the famous Russian Impressionists that we're going to talk about next week. So we're going to try to remember Savrasov and Repin. Both of them studied at the Moscow College of Institute of Art, Painting, Sculpture, and Architecture. And they learned the techniques of bringing light into their canvas. But unlike the French, who were very happy and joyful, these men thought that they had to show the seriousness and the grandeur of Russia. Look at that grand piece of countryside. Of course, great things were coming out of that country because it was so large. All right, we'll talk about them more later.